Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame. My name is Bill Matz. I am joined live in the Xfinity studio by Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. Charlie will be along on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line at some point or another. I can talk. Dear God, Kelly, this team is so bad sometimes. Like, their ceiling is a pretty good team. Like, we have seen them play for a lot of this season, a pretty, at least okay to good game.
Okay.
But they just go through these stretches of what the hell are they doing? It was quite a bit of the month of January.
Yeah.
And then, they've won 4 out of 5. They're looking okay. Even when they're not playing great, they figured out ways to win. They come through. And then tonight, against the worst team in the Eastern Conference, the New York Rangers, a Rangers team that has once again resigned itself by putting out a letter to its fans saying, hey, yeah, we give up. Better luck next year. We're rebuilding again. They get killed by them. These are the standings entering tonight. The Flyers had a very remote chance at the playoffs, but it was doable. And then you go and lose in regulation to this team that, quite frankly, stinks.
They stink.
They're not good. And you see what happened tonight. The Flyers actually had a 30-shot game, which is interesting. They had some of their better shot total periods of the month of March thus far. But for the most part, there just wasn't a ton of juice. They didn't get a great performance out of Dan Vladar. I don't blame him for every goal, but he was kind of hung out to dry tonight. When he doesn't have his A game, doesn't seem like they have much of a chance at all. The inconsistent nature of this team makes it really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes, because they have some young guys and you're hoping to see them come along as they more enter their primes, and the veterans are the veterans on those teams. And we have guys like Owen Tippett who will be, 28, 29, 30, hopefully, when this team is in its contention window. Like, there's a path. And then nights like tonight, like, I don't know, you should probably not get manhandled by the worst team in the conference.
Yeah, this is one of those games where the intrusive thoughts start to win.
Yeah.
It's because it's just like, it wasn't just that they lost the game, right? Like, all right, sometimes you lose a game.
And like, especially if you have
4-2, like, sometimes you lose a game.
Especially if you have bad goaltending.
Sure.
We've seen that plenty. Like, if Vladar just doesn't have it tonight.
The first goal was a little bit.
The Rangers have Shesterkin. We don't. Vladar doesn't have his A game. You go, all right, they played okay, but they just lost. No. It wasn't, like, Vladar wasn't very good tonight, but nor was anybody else.
No, and honestly, the fact that they ended up with 30 shots or whatever it was, more than 16.
It's nice.
Honestly, shocking, because the effort was terrible for most of the game.
There you go. Third period with the team trailing 6-1. They put up
score effects, baby.
They outshot the Rangers 13-3, which is kind of surprising because for the first 5-6 minutes of the period, it was all Rangers again.
Yeah.
And then the Flyers, it really took over when I was finishing up instant reactions and not paying attention much, quite honestly.
I mean, JJ and Bush weren't.
JJ and Bush just started talking about Alexei Kovalev.
Alexei Kovalev, Pittsburgh games in the 90s.
Yeah, they spent 5 minutes on a Kovalev hat trick from the year 2000.
They were over it.
It is crazy to me. That's footage from the year 2000 looks closer to footage from the Flyers Stanley Cup run in the 70s than it does. It's basically in the middle of these two things.
I don't get it.
And it looks so much more like 1975 than 2026. It's ridiculous.
Listener, do you remember TV looking like that?
I guess we just didn't know any better.
I feel like when I never was watching it being like, I can't see the puck. But
Seeing how ugly it was in the year 2000, it does not shock me that hockey is not a popular television sport. You can't tell what the hell's going on out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the game tonight.
After basketball wins,
that's all the time we have for you. Go watch the Sixers show. No, it doesn't seem like that game went much better either.
No.
The Sixers were, of course, missing their entire starting lineup.
At least they had a reason.
Yeah, the Flyers just sucked for no reason other than they're them. Kelly, for the 43rd time in 63 games, So they have only scored the first goal 20 times. For the 43rd goal, for the 43rd time in 63 games, they give up the game's first goal. How? It feels like this should, because they've had plenty of first periods where it's like, yeah, they give up the first one, but then they score the next two. Whether they play well or not, they give up the first goal. They are trailing basically every single night. It seems like this should be kind of a coin flip. Who scores first? Who cares? It's hockey. But every single night they give up the first goal.
Do you know what's weird? I feel like, so you and I have been doing this together for what feels like 15 years at this point. It might almost be. Anyway, I feel like we've been talking about the Flyers are slow starters. Why are they always such slow starters? I feel like we've been having this conversation the entire time.
Yeah, because I mean, that goes back to, that was a Giroux era thing for a few years. I remember always once the Yuri Laterra stuff came out, we were like, how are they slow starters?
I know.
They have a cocaine mega dealer in the locker room, allegedly. Maybe someone who happened to live in his house might have been not him stealing all that coke. But either way, like, how are they this slow of starters? And that was like, what? That's Dave Haxtell era? Yeah, because Laterra's... in Haxtell's last game, he scratched Lindblom to play Laterra.
Yeah.
So that's that era. It was forever ago. It does feel like this is an ongoing issue, but...
What's that about?
Even when they come out pretty well, like they still somehow managed to give up the first goal. But tonight was so much worse. They're down 3-0 after the first period. And Michkov scores on the power play in the second to kind of make it a game. But then the Rangers score 3 more in the second. And that's that.
I think you said after they scored the third goal, it was like, oh, the Flyers aren't scoring 3. They don't do that. So, like, that's it. Game's over.
No, that's the thing is, one, like, the effort tonight, this is what, like, when Charlie and I have said, this team hasn't earned the right to be in the playoff race. And, like, they didn't earn the right for Briere not to be more aggressive in trying to move players like Ristolainen at the deadline because of the, 3-13 they went on for a stretch, basically leading up to the Olympics in the second half. When the second half began, just look at what they've done against the Rangers. Once again, the worst team in the East. The Rangers have now won 25 games this season. 3 of them are against the Flyers. This is their 16th regulation win. They're second against the Flyers. Like, basically, they've won half their games against Philly this year. It's tremendous. But it brings me to my first real qualm tonight. Why was Dan Vladar left in to wear 6 goals? This was Vladar's 5th straight start and 6th out of 7. Ersson has only played the second of back-to-backs, the second game out of the Olympics. That's the only time he's been in until the third period tonight. So maybe Vladar, whose career high was 29 starts coming into this season, tonight was 38, I believe, is starting to wear down. Now, maybe it's just a bad night. They happen. Every goalie has a bad night. But maybe he's starting to wear down a little. To your point about this team never scores 4.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving him in there? Like, maybe he can get it together and we can make a comeback. Once they get to 4, no, you can't. No. Yeah, the Flyers have scored 4 goals in regulation 15 times in 62 games, so now 15 times in 63 games. Once New York gets to 4, it's over. Bring in Ersson. Not even to be like, oh, well, it's over, I guess. Like, if you're going to try to make a push, which, whatever, you're going to need Dan Vladar because Sam Ersson is very bad. Like, why leave him in there for 40 minutes to just take a beating when he's been your MVP? That's the other thing, is have some consideration for the guy who is the only reason you're remotely close at this point in the season.
I had to remind myself when that third goal was scored, and it was fairly early in the second period. The fourth goal came quite a bit later, and I can kind of see maybe the point. There's only like a couple of minutes left in the period. At that point, maybe they're just like, let him finish, and then we'll start Ersson in the third. I kind of think to your point about him not having it, it did seem pretty clear.
Yeah, early on.
From the first and second goals that, like, while they weren't explicitly, I think, his fault entirely, like, you could just tell, like, that wasn't a normal Dan Vladar performance. It wasn't what we're used to seeing from him. So you probably could have pulled him after the third goal.
The third goal is really, to me, when you got to get him out. Like, okay, 3 goals in the first. We're probably not winning this game.
Yeah.
Like, that's just let's preserve him. And let's stop, like, our MVP, let's not let him wear 6. Like, he doesn't deserve that. He's the only reason you're even remotely close this season. And since January 8th, that was the date of game 42 when the second half of the season started, Kelly.
Okay.
The Flyers are averaging 2.36 now. I just did the math, including tonight. 2.36 goals per game, January 8th to today.
Not enough.
52 goals in 22 games. So once the Rangers get 3 or 4, it is over. The Flyers have scored 4 goals in regulation 3 times in the last 21 games. They've only done it 15 times this season.
Yeah.
They can't score. So why do this? I don't understand leaving Vladar in tonight.
Yeah.
That's really, like you said, it looked like he was going to struggle early. The first goal, there's a screen. Maybe he can't really pick up the puck, but can't squeeze it, hit him in the glove, drops it. He struggled with a few other rebounds. And I'm not even putting this entirely on Vladar. Like the one goal I saw late, maybe it was the 6th goal, Ristolainen is so far off Perreault, who has the puck on the side of the net, that he can't do anything to him. And Perreault goes backdoor, and Ristolainen does nothing to break that up. Who was he defending? One of the Zibanejad goals, he just walks right down Broadway and just is there. Like, I don't know. Every time the Flyers try to play the puck into the middle, the guy gets mauled and the puck never gets to the net even. It was really bad in front of him as well. But once you saw he didn't really have it, just get him out of there and say, hey, we're going to need you this weekend, man. They have a back-to-back coming up.
They do.
So he's going to play 2 out of 3 nights, as you see, regardless. Whether it's Ersson next game or it's Vladar. If it's Vladar, or if it's Ersson on Wednesday, that means you're going to have another 2 in a row, basically, for Vladar to start. I don't get why they left him in for this.
I'm looking at that. I don't know which of those games is better to put Ersson in, honestly. I mean, I guess I would rather have Vladar against the Wild if I'm trying to win hockey games, right?
That's I
don't know.
I would say, to me, it's Vladar. Like, based on tonight, maybe he just needs a rest, then you put him in there against the Wild.
Yeah.
But since you're probably not beating the Wild either way,
That's fair.
Try to ensure the win against the
points,
Caps, if you wanted to look at it that way. Like, it's a conference game. It's against a team that also sold at the deadline. Like, you just have a better chance. So let's, raise our level of possibility of winning. Maybe that's the way they look at it. But I would think about giving him a couple of nights off here and get him in there against the Wild. Probably not going to matter, but
no.
Just I don't want him taking a beating just because the season's over when he's been their best player all year.
Yeah, it's absolutely not fair to him.
All right, on the other side, we're going to talk about tonight's unsung hero, tonight's game changer. Charlie will join us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line at some point, but we got to take our first break. Have you ever had one of those days where you're moving nonstop and suddenly you realize you forgot to eat? Happens to me all the time, and that's why I love what Wawa is doing right now, because Wawa has $5 deals all day, and honestly, it just makes life easier. If you're starting early, you can grab the $5 big breakfast meal deal. We're talking a breakfast sandwich, a hash brown, at any size hot or iced coffee. That's a full morning win for $5, available from 5 to 11 a.m. Then later in the day, the value keeps rolling with a crispy chicken sandwich created your way, starting at just $5, and they've even got new teriyaki recipes for a limited time. It's real food, real value, and built for busy days. No planning, no overthinking. Just swing in, grab what you need, and keep it moving. Start your day strong and fuel up whenever you need with Wawa's $5 deals. Limited time, exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. Gotta have a Wawa. You know, tax season is funny because it's one of the only times all year people actually look at their full financial picture. You see what you made, you see what you spent, what you saved, and sometimes you're thinking, wait, where did all that go? Well, now you can simplify your finances with Monarch. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It helps you see exactly where your money's going and where something like a tax refund can actually make the biggest impact, whether it's paying down some debt or building up your your savings. What I like is that Monarch actually helps you stay proactive. Their AI insights highlight spending trends and patterns you might miss, and the weekly recap keeps you updated on things like spending spikes, changes in your net worth, or upcoming expenses. So achieve your financial goals for good with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple. Use code PHLY at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. Welcome back, and it is now time for tonight's Game Changer, driven by Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevy, together, let's drive. The only guy who scored before garbage time tonight, we're going to give it to Matvei Michkov.
Nice goal, too.
Cashing our 1 goal of the power play, -3. Rough night for Mich. 2 shots, but Michkov did score on the power play and cashes our anytime goal from pregame.
Look at that.
So we get that at least. But listen, nobody was very good tonight. I did think Michkov had a couple of shifts, and the more I watch he and Zegras on the power play together, I'm not even talking about the right side thing, because sure, fine. But the more I watch he and Zegras on the power play together, the more I just cannot believe the head coach of an NHL team came to the conclusion, I can't put those two together.
Oh, I can.
Well, you know what, Kelly?
Remember Ken Hitchcock? Remember how he hated goals and like we traded Patrick Sharp?
Yeah.
Hitchcock was like, goals, no thank you. We have him again. He's back, baby. Goals, no thank you.
Like I got a good chuckle. I wish you had been here for our last post game, because I pointed out, hey, you know how Zegras and Michkov can't play together on the power play because they're going to give up too many odd man rushes?
Yeah.
Well, last game, the Flyers gave up a shorthanded breakaway. That unit wasn't the unit on the ice.
That's weird.
It was actually the Noah Cates, the responsible unit.
Sort of like how you need Noah Juleson for the penalty kill.
Yeah. Wow.
Or else you lose?
Yeah, well, they were 3 for 4 through 2 periods tonight, so they finished 3 for 4, 75% on the power play were the Rangers tonight. So thank God we had Noah Juleson.
Thank God.
I mean, like, no one was good. We're just like, I don't want to pick on Noah Juleson when, like, I think Sanheim was terrible tonight, but like the overall decision making,
not good.
These things, like watching Matvei Michkov and Zegras just like play, pitch, and catch, not even like them making a dynamic play, just those two passing the puck.
Yeah,
how it strikes just a tiny bit of fear, and suddenly, I've talked that it took like 4 years for teams to figure out, like, we need to crowd Claude Giroux on the power play. It took like 3 months for teams to figure it out with Michkov. Like, let's just put a body on him the whole time and try to take away his time and
now
space.
There's 2 dudes.
Suddenly, those two are playing pitch and catch, and Michkov comes off the wall, and he's not immediately checked.
Right.
And like, there's an opportunity for him to make a couple of plays. And this wasn't even like, when I noticed this, it wasn't even the power play they scored on, or it was before they scored, but it was just, how could you have come to the conclusion we can't put these two together? The power play is so bad. Like, oh, well, we might give up a breakaway. Like, who cares?
I know.
How can that be your decision-making process on the power play that has been the 33rd ranked power play in the last, like, 5 years?
You could do a whole, I don't know if you have ideas for your show tomorrow. You could do a whole hour on curious decisions made by the Philadelphia Flyers coaching staff.
I've been sitting on this idea of a special teams power play show, but I need Charlie to, like, he's been talking about doing an article that gets into the advanced numbers. I'm not going to do that.
Charlie.
I just need him to. I just need him to do the legwork, because I'm not looking up all that.
No, that's what he's for.
Like, the power play has visually been better, and shocking, a part of that is Michkov and Zegras together.
2 good players.
Zegras gets an assist on the Michkov goal tonight, but it is Michkov with his 16th of the year. That is tonight's, I guess, game changer. It made the game. It changed my perception of the game for about 5 minutes. Like, maybe they're gonna make this interesting.
One of the few things that still makes me excited about the hockey team is Matvei Michkov scoring goals. So I'll take it every time.
I did want to look up. So he's got 16 now, which puts him. Let's see. TK 23, Zegras 21, Tippett 20, and he's in 4th. I wonder, like, playing with Barkey, the power play being a little better. I wonder if he can go on a run like him and Forster went on in the late last season and maybe get to the team lead or at least like maybe challenge. So he needs 10 in the final 19 games to get to 26 like he had last year.
Doable.
It's definitely doable.
It's doable if he's given the opportunity to do it. Which,
to be fair, he has been getting a ton more ice time lately, over 16 minutes again tonight.
Because I'm pretty sure Dad had another conversation with him about both ice time and position.
I do think, like, while they just needed to clear space on the wing, like, they have to make trades of wingers.
Yes.
Because, like, you know, we could use, a young right-handed defenseman who might be able to play in our top four one day. And, you know, we could use more space for Porter Martone, and Tyson Forster's going to come back at some point. And we have all these other wingers. I wonder if part of trading Bobby Brink was, like, he is a full-time right winger. He exclusively plays right wing. If we take that guy away, who is on Michkov's line, we have all these other lefties.
Yeah, Danny Briere.
Someone is going to have to play their off wing. Maybe it'll be the guy who wants to play his off wing very badly and was nearly rookie of the year doing it last year.
Yeah, Danny Briere is being forced to do Moneyball in order to make this team
I'm going to take your toys away.
Yeah, so that's good. At least he's doing it.
At least he's thinking about it.
Yeah.
Tonight's next segment I want to get to, Kelly, is the Unsung Hero presented by Togo. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Togo. Tonight's Togo Unsung Hero has got to be Alex Bump. He leads the Flyers tonight with 4 shots on goal, which is a pretty decent total considering this team never gets any shots. They got some tonight, but he accounted for 4 of them. I'm trying to see how many. Where are you, number 20? 4 shots on 5 attempts. So much more efficient than the 1 official shot on goal on 7 attempts in his debut. He didn't score, but I think the highlight of the game would have been had he converted.
Yeah.
While his mother is being interviewed on the broadcast.
That would have been amazing.
He nearly sneaks one by, and I believe that was the Charlie O'Connor tweet that I have here. Little tricky shot there from Alex Bump. Seemed to handcuff Shesterkin a bit. He stopped it, but he couldn't squeeze it like he clearly wanted to. So far, I'm liking the deceptiveness of Bump's release at the NHL level. I love his willingness to shoot. Much more efficient tonight, hitting the net 4 out of 5 times instead of 1 out of 7. But something that has surprised me is he looks like an actual, not just a volume shooter, and he's going to shoot a ton. We've seen that. He's got 12 attempts through 2 games. The fact that he likes to, okay, I'm going to move it a little and change my release point and just have that little bit of deception. As he learns NHL goalies a little bit, and as hopefully, you know, he gets better centers and things of that nature, better line mates, I am really thinking this guy is going to score a whole bunch of goals at this level.
It certainly looks like it. And it was nice to see him. I mean, while he didn't score tonight, it was I think it was a good enough game that you can say, like, okay, that wasn't like a 1 game kind of like freak accident that he looked good against Pittsburgh. He looked good again tonight. And that's really encouraging because, like, again, the playoffs before this game were a long shot.
Yes.
They're longer now. So, like, the rest of this season, and I feel like we've said this for the last 15 years, the rest of this season needs to be, let's see what we got in some of these kids. And he's definitely one of them because I feel like if they're going to try and make big swings like in free agency or with a trade or something, they're going to need some cheap dudes to fill in. And it would be really helpful if those cheap dudes were, you know, a little more Alex Bump and a little less, you know, Carl Grundstrom.
Yeah, that's the
top liner. Carl
you
Grundstrom.
need, obviously, your top of the draft guys to work out, whether it's highly touted guys like Michkov and Martone, or middle of the draft guys like Luchenko, or think about how well they've done in the 20s with guys like Konechny throughout their history, Lawton, Giroux. Like, you need these guys to work out, and you need a lot of them to, like, be better than what you think that pick ceiling could be.
Right.
But you also just so badly need to hit on some third, fourth, and fifth round picks. You have to turn some of them into actual players, because those guys, and I said this the other night to Charlie, those guys for like the first 6 years of their career will always be cheaper.
Yep.
Now, listen, if he becomes a 35, 40 goal scorer, like he's getting paid that way regardless of where he was drafted. But that ELC and then that first contract is maybe before they've totally broken out, they'll always be a little cheaper because of the pedigree and what the perceived ceiling is. You don't have to commit the 8 years to them right away. And you have more time to figure out what they're going to be. And then if they're 27 and it's like, yeah, they've kind of hit their ceiling, you can make an easier decision on them at the end of that. Like, we saw Matt Reed first couple years in the league, really first 3 years, really, really good, but that's as good as he's going to be. And then he starts to decline and you can make an easier decision. All right, we're good on this. That's the kind of luck you also need to pull off a rebuild that, man, has sorely been missing for this team. But you look at Noah Cates, you look at Alex Bump, there's a couple of fifth-round picks there. And all right, Charlie's just about ready to join us. So on the other side, we will talk to Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, but we got to take our second break. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together. Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's already online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contracts and no hidden fees. And Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply, and as always, let's go Flyers. March means one thing, that it's go time for the playoff push. And at Elkins Chevrolet, it's go time for real deals. Elkins Chevy is 3 brothers making one promise: to treat you like family and give you a deal that makes sense. Trucks, Elkins has got them. SUVs, they've got those too. And payments that keep you in the game? Absolutely. It's Chevy Truck Month, and those tax refunds are starting to hit as well. That means it's a great time for Flyers fans to check out a new Chevy truck at Elkins. Get up to $7,360 in bonus cash on a new Silverado 1500. Contact Elkins Chevrolet today to see if you qualify for any additional offers. And if you're thinking about making a move, make it to Elkins Chevrolet on Route 73 in Marlton. Elkins Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of that honkin' good service. Together, let's drive, and together, let's go Flyers. Welcome back, and joining us now on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line live from the Xfinity Mobile Arena, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. Whew, hell of a game there, Charlie. What were your thoughts?
I was going to say, what do you want to talk about? My first thought is that the weather outside was so nice,
beautiful
that
day.
I guess the hockey gods in general just felt like, okay, well, Flyers fans got as much happiness out of today as they're going to get, so we're going to give them an absolute garbage hockey game. No, the Flyers played terribly in this game. Let's be honest. And look, I'm not saying that there weren't, a couple bright spots. There weren't some decent plays, some decent shifts here and there. But the Flyers defensively in particular were a dumpster fire. It was a game where they all were just kind of running around in the defensive zone like chickens with their heads cut off. Guys were out of position. Then other guys were trying to, cover for people who are out of position, then more guys go out of position, and then they give up a weak side goal, or they give up a guy, wide open in the slot. The penalty kill, which has been a strength for a few weeks, god awful tonight. And Dan Vladar, look, he was not good. He did not have his fastball. He also didn't get a lot of help. And I think Sean Couturier said it after the game, like we pissed away the game in front of them, and they did. Like, I'm not absolving Dan Vladar, but also Dan Vladar has been great this year. So it's easy to be like, yeah, he had a clunker. You know what? It's bound to happen occasionally. But if he would have had more support, maybe this clunker could have been, a 4-goal game where it goes into overtime and they win anyway. Because he's had a couple games like that where he's gotten some support even where he hasn't quite been at his best, and then he finds a way to come through some big saves in overtime in the shootout and they win. This game, he wasn't playing his best, and the team in front of him gave him essentially no help. And what you see is a 6-goal game, and he's out by the start of the third period.
So, Charlie, based on how these next 19 games go, now someone could go on a crazy scoring streak and Vladar could continue to maybe flounder. But as of right now, I would have Dan Vladar as the Bobby Clark Trophy winner, as this team's MVP. He made his 5th straight start tonight and has started 6 out of 7 since coming back from the Olympics. We can have the conversation maybe tomorrow. Do you think he's wearing down, or is this just a clunker? Only time will tell what's actually true. But why was the team MVP allowed to give up 6 goals tonight? Do you feel like Tocchet hung him out to dry? Because I sure as hell do.
I mean, I probably would have pulled him after the 5th goal, but I don't know. Like, my guess is that they just wanted to get to the intermission, and then obviously it makes a switch at intermission. Yeah, maybe you could have pulled him after the 5th one, but I don't know. Like, Bill, when did you want to pull him?
After the 3rd or 4th goal, I thought would have been plenty appropriate, because I thought from the onset it was clear he did not have his A game. And if we are looking ahead, and based on the usage thus far, if they are going to try to make a push, which whatever, go ahead and try, you're going to fail. But if that's your mindset, you're going to need Dan Vladar a whole hell of a lot. So if he doesn't have it one night, get him out of there. Like, you give up 3 or 4 in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you have a 0% chance of winning. This team has scored 4 goals in regulation 15 times this year. 63 games. That's basically impossible. You're not going to score 4. You're not coming back. Get your best player out of there and say, we're going to try to win tomorrow. Like, that is personally how I would have handled it. I get you want to leave the guy in there with the 5th goal. Okay, let's just try to get him to intermission. Then they get another one, and 6 just looks terrible on a line. But I don't know. It looked like he didn't have it early to me, and I would have tried to maybe get him out after the first period.
Yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from. I do think you're coming at this from a place of, and I get it. He's been great this year. You're coming at it from a place of, like, you want to protect Vladar. You want his numbers to look good because you feel like the team owes it to him to have his numbers at the end of the year not look crappy because he had to sit in here for a 6-goal game. And I get that. I guess my view is, like, it's the Rangers. You could have scored some goal. I mean, I know Shesterkin's great, but, like, the Rangers stink. And even a Dan Vladar playing at 80% of peak is probably still better than Sam Ersson playing at 100% of peak. So I get the idea of leave him in. I guess looking back on the goals, like, the 4th goal was bad. He gives up a bad rebound. Maybe you pull him after that one. The 5th goal is when it's just like, the 5th goal, when they scored the 5th goal, my thought was just get him out of there because nobody's got it. And
yes.
let's not have his numbers get killed. But the 4th goal, I guess, yeah, he gives up a bad rebound. Then you're like, yeah, maybe we pull him. Maybe we can get the boost of the guys feel shame because they let down their goalie. I don't know. I guess, Bill, like, it's just not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal. It's just, like, to me, one, if you're going to use him like this on nights he doesn't have it, get him the hell out of there, because we've seen what happens when you run a goalie into the ground. The backup on this team is really good evidence of it. Like, oh yeah, having a decent season. Now we use him every night, and oh, it went real bad real fast. Like, I just think if you are going to use him this way on nights he's no good, get Ersson in there. Ersson's played once in the last 3 weeks. Like, try to, maybe you're going to need him at some point too. Maybe get him a little bit of work, especially when you have no chance of coming back once they score 4 goals. I don't know. That's just
he's going to play. Ersson's going to play, obviously, and play in the 3rd period. But he's going to play this week because they have a back-to-back. So he's going to get in a game. It's just, yeah, again, like, this just isn't that big of a deal to me. I feel bad for Vladar more than anything because I don't like to see him have a 6 spot on his record going into the rest of the year. I don't want that to deflate his numbers. I just don't think it's that huge of a deal in the grand scheme.
So just, Charlie, for my own morbid curiosity, did anything interesting come out of Tocchet's post-game remarks?
No, not really. I mean, I asked him the question of if he thought that the that the team had basically not taking this opponent as seriously as they should have, given they were they still are the lowest ranked team, the worst team in the Eastern Conference by record. And he basically said, that's a good question. We can't do that, but maybe we did. It's possible. The one comment I thought was interesting from Nick Seeler, and basically everybody echoed it because he was the first player we got in the locker room after the game, was I asked if he thought it was an energy issue, and he said, no, I think guys had energy. I think it was a focus issue. The guys just were not playing focused. And this team does not have the talent to not play focused. If they don't play focused, they are going to lose to the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and not just lose by a lot. We saw that tonight. When they're not playing with like the unified mentality of we need to play team hockey, we need to adhere to our system, we need to play hard and win every battle that we possibly can. When they do that, they can be competitive. When they don't, they can look like literally the worst team in hockey.
My question, like, speaking about how the team just had no structure defensively, like one of the Mika's Zibanejad goals, he's just right down the middle and there's no one, like, okay, I guess we're not going to defend the center of the ice. That's cool. The second one where Gabe Perreault, Risto's just standing way far away from Perreault, unable to defend him, and doesn't take away the backdoor pass to Zibanejad for his second goal. Who's defending anyone on that play?
They need to be better. They can't afford to have these kind of structural issues. That said, and I don't want to be absolving them by any means, like sometimes teams have bad games. Even good teams have bad games 63 games in. So I'm not going to be like, it's an embarrassment, how dare they? It means that like they forgot how to play defense. Like they had a really bad defensive game. They did. And they're not good enough to be able to overcome having a really bad defensive game because they don't have enough offensive abilities to overcome that. That said, like I've seen the Tampa Bay Lightning have bad games in Game 70. So I don't think it's an indictment of the entire organization because they had a clunker in Game 63 versus Game 23. Hell yeah. All right, we're going to 3 stars. So 3 stars. Third star of the game, I'm going to go with Nikita Grabenkin. Thought he had a nice setup on the garbage time goal. Thought he did well in his minutes. And I think it, some people freaked out, even in our Discord, about Grundstrom being on line 1. My point was, look, like they don't really have a line 1. They just happen to run that first in line rushes. So like, I don't think he's actually like the first line winger on the team. That said, like I liked what I saw from Grabenkin in a scoring role on that line with Bump and Dvorak last night or 2 nights ago. So I don't know why you don't have Grabenkin up there instead of Grundstrom. And Grabenkin in his minutes was pretty good. At least wasn't actively terrible. So I'm going to give Nikita Grabenkin 3rd star.
All right, Brenna tells me the audio should be back.
Hey, you're back. I can hear you again.
I'm glad you brought that up, Charlie, because literally the first question I had for you on the outline is why is Grundstrom playing with Zegras? But you at least put a comment in there on that. Who is star number 2?
Star number 2, I'm going to give it to Matvei Michkov. He's the only person who scored a goal when the game was not in doubt for the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't think Michkov had like the greatest game in his memory. It was hard to tell that one goal where Zibanejad scores right down the Royal Road. It was hard for me to tell whether that was Michkov's guy or whether that was Barkey's guy. Somebody messed up. I'm not sure who, so I don't want to pin it on Michkov. But one of those 2 guys has to recognize that guy's open in the slot, and neither of them did. They're both young players. They're going to make mistakes, so whatever. But I loved the shift that he had in on the power play. Loved the fact that even with Konechny back, he's still on the, I guess if you want to call it the top unit, but it's the one with Konechny and Zegras and Tippett. So sure, it's the top unit. He made like 3 or 4 really good plays on that that shift, and then obviously it ends in a goal. So because he scored the only goal when the game was still had the possibility of being won by the Flyers, made it 3-1. Flyers were sort of back in it. I'm giving it to Matvei Michkov, even though I don't think it was like his best all-around game. Hey, he scored a meaningful goal. So for that, you get 2nd star.
Yeah, that Cates, Barkey, Michkov line that we liked how it was coming along when Brink was the other winger. We really liked it with Barkey the other night. They are all -3 tonight. So a little rough, but the whole team sucked. What are you going to do? All right, who is star number 1?
Yeah, star number 1, like I'm tempted to give this to Owen Tippett because I do think by the eye test, he was maybe the only guy who looked good, but I'm not going to. You know who I'm going to give it to? I'm going to give it to Sam Ersson, who pitched a shutout in the
Oh
third
my
period of this game.
Lord.
Three
love
saves
when
on
Charlie-
3 shots. So he gets first star honors because he didn't give up a goal. He didn't make any mistakes in this game, unlike basically the rest of the team.
Sam Ersson, by far the best save percentage of Flyers goalies against the Rangers, with Vladar coming in at 750 and Kolosov at a 0.0.
Ludo Blutarski.
Yeah, just absolutely perfect. Real quick, Charlie, game number 2 for Alex Bump tonight. What'd you think?
I thought he was okay. He wasn't perfect. He got knocked around a little bit more in this one than he did in game 1. Definitely, a little bit of a welcome to the NHL kid. You might need to get a little bit stronger if you want to be a legitimately good NHL player. But I still liked a lot of what I saw. I thought he was. I thought again the puck finds him. Like he just seems to always be around it, and to me that speaks to strong hockey sense. He had a couple power moves to the net. He was taking some shots. Like as far as everybody on this team goes, because like no one played well in this game overall, I thought he was fine. There was enough there where I'm like, yeah, this wasn't so much of a disaster by any means that I'm like ready to send him back down to the minors. Obviously he was better in game 1, but I thought he showed flashes in this game. What did you guys think?
I love his willingness to shoot that first shot, and you're in the stadium, but on the broadcast, and you tweeted about the shot where he just changes the angle a little and rips it, and Shesterkin couldn't quite glove it. He stops it, but wasn't able to squeeze it. They're interviewing his mother on the broadcast as that happens, and had he scored, it just would have been so cool.
That would have been cool.
I just love his willingness to shoot, and it looks like he's got to get stronger. He's got to learn the league, learn goalies, but I love the willingness, and I think he's going to score a bunch of goals in this league if he keeps getting a little bit better every time out. So I'm really enjoying him. Last thing here, Chuck. Sanheim got banged up. It looked like in the third period. Anything about him? All as well, maybe.
I mean, he played the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Like he didn't miss shifts. We did ask for him after the game, and he did not speak. That said, we had gotten all the quotes we needed. We could have waited him out and waited to see if he came out after, because I'm sure he was getting treatment because he definitely got banged up. My guess is he'll be okay. They have a full off day tomorrow. They've always had this day off on the schedule. So this isn't a new thing. So he won't have to go on the ice until Wednesday. My guess is he'll be fine, but you never know.
All right, Charlie. Trevor Zegras is 55% in the face-off circle. He's good. We're good. We can just stop the search. We have a center. All right, that is Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Thank you for joining us tonight, Chuck, and we will talk tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Kelly, thanks for taking hosting duties on such a terrible, terrible hockey game.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate
Bill,
your pity.
Bill, I'm not thanking you because this is your full-time job.
19 more, Charlie.
Deal with it.
19 more. All right. Thank you, Chuck. We will talk tomorrow. All right. On the other side, we will discuss Trevor Zegras. I think there are a whole bunch of super chats, which is wild. You people are nuts. I love you. Before we go to break, hit that like button. I want to be at 100 likes when we come back from the break. We're at 63. Not enough. Get me to 100 at the break, which is starting right now. Spring is back, and you know what that means? It means Rita's is back. That's right. It's the sweet sound of Rita's season, and all your favorite frozen treats are back and better than ever. Nothing hits like the first refreshing Italian ice of the season, or maybe you're a frozen custard person. Smooth, creamy, perfect every time. And if you really want to do it right, you gotta go with a gelati, layered just the way you love it. Sun's out, flavors are popping, and it's officially treat yourself weather. And don't forget, download the Rita's app. New users get a free small gelati, ice, or custard with their first purchase. That's free happiness waiting just for you. So come on into Rita's and make the season the sweetest one yet with ice, custard, and happiness. Treat yourself to a scoop of happiness today. Go to Rita's. Learn more at ritasIce.com. And remember, let's go Flyers. It's time to make your home work smarter, not harder. With a TrueMark Financial home equity line of credit, you can tap in your home's equity to handle renovations, upgrades, or whatever's next on your list. A TrueMark Financial HELOC Select gives you the flexibility to borrow when you need it on your timeline. You start with a revolving line of credit, use only what you need, and when you're ready, you can lock in all or part of your balance at a fixed rate for predictable payments. You only pay interest on what you use, and as you pay it back, that credit becomes available again. No reapplying, no extra steps. With competitive rates compared to most unsecured loans and flexible repayment options, this could be a smart move for your home and your wallet. Learn more at TrueMark Financial's home equity line of credit at TrueMark.com or stop by one of their 24 branch locations to get started. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity lender, NMLS 404938. Let's go Flyers. All right, welcome back. You got us to 81 likes, which is respectable, but I asked to get to 100, and you all ignored my wishes, which is very upsetting. I love that Charlie made Sam Ersson a star.
I know, it's very funny.
I think that is very funny. I think we're going to have some super chats about Ersson. We're going to get to him. But you know what's really going to annoy me?
What's that?
If he's, like, decent in this little last 2019 games of the season, that's really going to annoy me.
Yeah, like what happens if he plays against the Caps or the Wild and he's like lights out for no particular reason? It's gonna be very annoying.
You see the schedule, and listen, there's some teams that can really score coming up. Wouldn't mind seeing Ersson get in there against some of those teams, but I just think you have so much of a sample size that unless he mechanically seems a lot different and doesn't give up, like even if he plays well and gives up one soft goal, you're like, all right, but stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's like your Achilles heel. Like unless there is so much of a visual difference, not just the numbers improve, because it's going to be hard to be as bad as his numbers have been, quite honestly. He's going to have some good games every now and then. He's an NHL goalie, allegedly, maybe. I hope that they aren't lulled into, oh, yeah, we can run him back next year. He had a good final 4 starts or whatever it's going to be in these last 19 games.
I can't believe that they would be doing that. Like
They can't. That would be it would be unfair to the players.
Yeah. There was even some rumblings, as the Charlie types say, I think around deadline day or on deadline day, about them possibly being in the market for a goaltender. I can't believe that they would be dumb enough to run that back.
No, they simply can't. If they do bring him back, because he's got one more year of team control, so it would be you could qualify him or whatever. Anything other than you can come and compete, but we've replaced you unless that guy like gets hurt in camp.
Yeah,
like that sort of thing. I just cannot imagine. But we'll see how Ersson plays down the stretch here. The other thing that I mentioned to Charlie right before we went to break. Zegras at center. 6 of 11 on faceoffs tonight. Picks up a power play assist. 55% in the dot. Considerably better. I think he was like 1 for 10 or something last game. Faceoffs are a major hole in why the Flyers and honestly the Ducks refused to really commit to him there once they were starting to turn the corner a little. And if he can just, he doesn't have to be Giroux and Coots. Like he does not need to be a 55. He just needs to be around 50. If he can be 48%, he can play center.
Only one way for him to get better.
Well, that's the other thing is he absolutely needs the reps.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left in the show.
Let's roll.
Let's hit those super chats. I did run Tankathon 10 times during the last break. The Flyers remained at 14 all 10 times. I don't think we need to do it on the show.
That's disrespectful.
Until they are in the top 10, there's no need to run Tankathon because the odds are so bad. All right. Obi-Wan leads off the super chat, says fire Cam York. I just think everyone was bad tonight. Cam York annoys me. I think his ceiling is pretty high. He's shown earlier in the season that he might be their best option on the power play, but Jamie Drysdale has shown signs of improvement tonight. He picked up another power play assist as well. Cam York is here and he's got the 5-year deal, but he has no trade protection. And if he goes this summer, I'm not going to be the least bit surprised.
No, me neither. Didn't Briere say something about 1 or 2 defensemen?
There are some defensemen who are going, they have to.
Yeah.
Simply, I expect Risto to go, but listen, if nobody trusts the trade history, they're just not going to be able to. And they need to make some room. They need to make some room for these great players that we're told they're going to acquire at some point, and just the young guys who, like Oliver Bonk, David Jiricek, Hunter McDonald, they should all be here next season. There's only 6 spots. I just named 3 guys.
Yeah.
I just want to see him and find out.
That's fair. Yeah.
And Maddie has said he's looked better lately.
Okay,
So
well, she's the one who would.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Obi. Next one here is from Slapshot68. Says, yeah, Toc, the York and Drysdale defense pairing. Let's never do that ever again. Everyone was pretty rough tonight, but I don't like that. The idea of them together, it's like, all right, what's the, I don't know. They're never going to, with the current group that they have, they're never going to have an overly physical defense.
No.
But putting your 2 smallish guys together kind of leaves you susceptible to the type of game you had tonight, where the front of the net is just a shooting range.
And I feel like you want both of them to be kind of the same kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I don't want them together.
Like, they've both dramatically improved their overall defensive game, but I want offense from them.
Right.
And if one is pushing, that means the other won't. And I kind of both want them to, because that's when they're at their best. They're both at their best when they're playing aggressive.
Exactly.
All right. Next one here is from JH. He just says, sigh.
Oh, poor JH.
I feel you, JH. I put in our company Slack tonight. Is it actually a rule we have to wait for the games to end to start post game?
Aren't you glad you didn't go to that game, bud?
Yeah, that's.
JH was going to go to the game.
I saw JH. I think David Shub was also contemplating it. Maybe in the pregame comments I saw that, but yeah, tonight was absolutely just sigh. Yeah. Just ugly performance. Oh, it's our pal Richard Park, our Park 84. Make the pain stop.
It will continue until morale improves.
That's pain will. The only way to make it stop is to turn it off. And listen, if you're joining us for post game after that debacle, you're not the type of people who are going to turn it off. And that's why I applaud that. We're all a little mentally ill. And if this is how we choose to express it by devoting ourselves to this team that does nothing but kick us,
more destructive,
collectively kick us in the balls all the time.
Yes.
I guess there's way more destructive ways, but we're all here together. That's what counts. Sports over everything, like it says right behind me. This is the community. It's not about the winning and celebrating. It's about being sad in a group. That's what sports are all about.
That's what we're doing here,
and the Flyers certainly help us accomplish that.
They sure do.
All right. Our old pal Purple Crayon weighs in at the intro, Bill. How we doing? Me, Bill, bad. Bill, well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, that's the joke.
Most of the games are like
that. I mean, listen.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah. I'm always going to start shows that way, but listen, on nights like tonight, it's a funny joke.
It sure is.
All right. Next one. Slapshot again says, I'm trying so hard to see the bigger picture, but if this front office does not have a home run offseason with drafting trades and signings, I'm going to view this rebuild as a failure and nothing else.
I mean, I don't know if I could definitively call it a failure, but I do feel like this is a very big summer.
It is. Now, Zegras is 25 soon. Michkov he just turned 21 in December. Porter Martone is a freshman in college. He's not even here yet. David Jiricek is 22 years old. Bonk is 20. Barkey is 20. Yeah. Zavragin's not even in North America yet. He's 20 years old. There's reason to see well ahead, but if we're doing this incremental get better thing, like, they do need to eventually bring in some of this talent they keep telling us they're going to bring in, and no time like the present.
But also, like, all those players you're named, I do think there's probably going to be some gems there, but I don't think, even if every single one of those guys hits their ceiling, like, is that a Stanley Cup team? I don't know.
Like, you need a top 10 player in the league. We know this. And you need a bunch of other really good players, too.
And I feel like Michkov does have the potential to be that good. But I am starting to worry that he's not going to reach it for reasons.
Well, I don't think you're wrong to worry about the. I mean, how many players have been developed to their full potential in this organization in the last 20 years? Claude Giroux, the end. Jake Voracek, maybe. And I think Jake Voracek's a what-if guy. It's mostly on him and his, like, training regimen.
Yeah.
But, like, he was a point-a-game player who should have been, like, a superstar. Like Drew was the only one.
He was like against all odds in the sense that he had like nothing around him, but also I don't feel like any of the coaches were ever like hamstringing him.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
which
like
is
other than
actively done.
Yeah, other than the front office going, nah, Michael Raffle, there's your left winger.
Yeah, right.
Like,
that's a problem.
Thanks.
Right.
But yeah, like developing guys to their full potential. How many can we say they have? TK and Sanheim, and they've both been here for 10 years. Like, it is a question. All right, next one here is Local Drunk 69. What's up, Local Drunk? What point do you guys lose faith in this regime? NHL needs to adopt the 3-point win system. It'll get rid of boring. Try not to lose hockey. Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
I mean, lose faith in this regime. They haven't made a huge mistake yet. I think that's the best thing I can say about them. And they did draft Michkov. They did draft Martone. They did get Zegras for nothing. Like, I don't know. I think they've done more good than bad. They're just, the patient approach is more annoying to us than it is to people who did just get their jobs 2 years ago, because we've all been here for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
They, on the other hand, have been doing their job for 2 or 3 years. Right. And that's a little bit different.
I do think that, I know everyone's tired of me talking about it. I think the coaching hire was a misstep for the stage that this rebuild is in at the moment. I worry that's going to, I don't know that it's going to destroy the effort. I do worry that it's going to slow it down a little bit, maybe, or make it not as successful as it could have been otherwise. And I do agree with the last guy. This summer, like, they got to do some stuff.
They got to do something.
And if they come out of next summer, like, having gotten, like, one borderline second line center and haven't traded anybody.
Dvorak is, if there's a Dvorak headline,
right,
that's not good enough.
No, like, it's going to be a real problem. And I understand that that's, like, a difficult ask. But, like, hey, buddy, this is the corner you painted yourself.
Job ain't easy. If you wanted an easy job,
this is
like,
the path you chose to take. And from the jump, this summer was the summer we were all pointing at.
That's what you told us.
So now you got to go.
Like, you got us Michkov early, and thank you for that. We appreciate it, But now we got to fast forward. Like, it doesn't have to be everything. I'm not expecting, oh, yeah, we got a 1C, a 1D. We're ready to go. We found another star in an offer sheet. Like,
no, but it's got to be big.
But like,
big
you got to get us something in order to take things forward a little bit more. Because if we're going to do it incrementally, like, you need to do the job incrementally. Get us the things that you tell us openly you need. Right. Anyway, all right, we got a couple of seconds here before I need to hit overtime. So I am just going to fill for like 3 seconds here. All right, and there we go. We got to trigger overtime. Go to allphly.com to keep watching. See, that's the that was Tocchet hockey right there.
That was, sure was.
We can get the loser point?
Let's go.
Let's just run out the clock. Yep. All right. Next one here is from Obi Trice. If Zegras was banned from shootouts and Vladar was even average, this is the team you are watching all season. Would have got a top 5 pick easily.
Not wrong.
Yeah, but those things aren't true.
I know.
Like, yeah, man. And if like Sidney Crosby decided he wanted to go play football, maybe the Flyers would have had a better last 20 years. Like, these are things that didn't happen.
I know, but I get the point. The point is, I think that those are masking problems.
Sure. If Connor Hellebuck wasn't on Team USA, they didn't win gold. Sure, but the goalie's part of the team.
I know.
I don't know. Like, and like, that's the other part is I think it's really good they identified talent. No, Trevor Zegras is at a reduced rate. Let's get him because he's going to help us win games.
It's very good that he's good.
We see something in Dan Vladar that maybe his early career numbers don't show. Let's go get him. And he won us a whole bunch of games.
Very good.
Like, I think it's good that they were able to do that because they are going to need to make a whole bunch of signings and trades for this thing to work.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I do kind of agree with the overall point that, like, if you look at the record alone, it's going to paint a picture, I think, that's not exactly true because of the loser point and the game.
I will say for most of the first half of the season, they scored a bunch of goals. Like, from mid-November through game 41, they were top 10 in scoring. It's just once it flipped over to game 42, they all of a sudden sucked. All right, next one here is Devin says, will Tocchet be the reason Danny Briere gets fired?
No, general managers always fire coaches.
Yeah, GMs usually get 2 coaching hires, and this is only his first. So I also think ownership has a stake in Danny Briere having sent him to business school, put him in charge of their ECHL team, not even the Reading Royals, the one they own in Maine.
They're not going to take that out.
I think they're in it for the long haul with Danny, unless this thing goes completely off the rails, which it clearly hasn't yet.
Not yet.
All right, next one is our park again. We love Bill, Kelly, Chuck, and Brenna.
Thank you, Phantoms legend Richard Park.
We love you, Richard Park. Never forget that. Was that the 99 All-Star team, AHL? Yeah. All right, next one, again, our park. Hire Brad Shaw.
Did you ever think what would have happened if they had done? Sometimes
Just like do the cool thing. That was just man. The Tocchet hiring was just so uninspiring because it was so, even if he was like doing a better job than we think he's doing right now, it was still just the most obvious thing.
Yes.
Like, A plus B. Okay, cool. All right. Next one here is, I do not know what this says. Culper Sam. Well, after watching your pregame show, it looks like you folks got your wish. You said you hated the overtime wins, but I think this may be a little worse anyway. Really will like watching your shows. Listen, I just don't want the games to go longer than they need to. And the loser point, they have 11 overtime losses this year. Like, the loser point is keeping them out of having a better draft pick. And listen, the first half of the season, I was on board and I wanted to see what they did. Yeah. And then the month of January happened and it showed me this team is still very far away. Yes. This was okay, boys, here's your group. Let's see what you can do. And what they did was completely ruin their first half of the season in a few short weeks leading up to the Olympics, to the point now where it is more about a draft pick.
Yeah.
Like, loser points could come in handy if you were like fighting for the playoffs, but January ruined that for them. All right, next one here is, this is the last one. It is from JH. It says, Ersson Pearsons, we ride.
I love the
Listen, I'm glad Charlie gave him a first star tonight. That was nice of him. And honestly, who the hell else was even going to deserve it? Like, you know what? Tippett didn't look terrible, like no points. You know, like he's first star because he wasn't terrible tonight. So I'd like Ersson to get first star. I'm hoping like he gets 4 or 5 more starts and then I never see him again for the Flyers.
Yeah, that would be great. 4 or 5 might be a little much.
That might be a little much, quite honestly. 4, I think, is a good number. Honestly, though, like the whole month of April and it's him and Kolosov, that could dramatically improve the draft position.
That's not wrong.
Dan Vladar's back's a little tight all of April. All right, that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. with one of our regular shows, non-game day. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers and check out BroadStreetHockey.com. Kelly and the gang do a great job over there. Yeah, tomorrow's our only 4 p.m. show this week as the schedule really starts to get going. All right, I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Thanks as always to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.